All right, we're back from the top rope, the SummerSlam episode. Today, I'm your host. I'm normally not your host, Jared Carrabis, alongside Robbie Fox, my tag team partner, and his brother, Mickey Fox, is in the studio with us here tonight. We just got back from the Barclays Center. A good 7 hours worth of WWE wrestling tonight that we just took in. Actually, it was more like 6.5 because, admittedly, we missed the first match on the card because Robbie wanted to wait, 35 minutes in line for some fucking green substance.
Matcha. It's matcha. We now have a matcha place on our corner called Cha Cha Matcha, and it's fucking awesome. I'm addicted. I've cut coffee out of my lifestyle. Just doing matcha all day. I think my order today was like $6.78 for like one tiny matcha. I always tip 25%. I'm a good guy. It's costing me way too much money. It's probably the reason I can't move into the city.
The Matcha Man, Robbie Fox.
Racket.
Before we get into our review, a little rundown of SummerSlam, a friendly reminder, if you haven't already, subscribe on iTunes. Be sure to head on over there and rate the show 5 stars. Shout out to Dave Meltzer and leave us a review. And the funny ones, if you screenshot them and tweet them to us at From the Top, we'll retweet them.
Listen, I love our listeners, the Grapple Fucks. They're great people, but they haven't been doing this. We've been saying it every week, and they think it's white noise. This isn't white noise. We need you to do this.
Yes. It helps us out a lot.
We're also on Spotify, maybe Stitcher. I don't know what we're on.
I don't know
people
either.
on the second floor are like, make sure you plug this, make sure you plug that. I'm like, yeah, we got it.
Think of us as the Daniel Bryan of the Barstool podcast network.
Love that.
We need a push from the fans in order from the suits up top to even recognize that we're worthy of said push. So that comes from you guys, the listeners,
the people,
the Grapple
for the
Fucks.
Yep.
Yes, we need the Grapple Fucks to be chanting yes, and in order to chant yes, you need to subscribe, you need to rate, and you need to review. That's how you help us out.
You need all 3 of those things. You can't just do 1. You can't just do 2. Fucking 3 ain't enough, man. I need 5. That means subscribe on Spotify and Stitcher as well.
For those that didn't
bump our numbers.
Yeah, that's a Big E reference for anyone who
little Big
jumped
E
on
from when
late.
he was in NXT.
Yeah.
We're wrestling fans here.
Yeah, well, yeah, we watched the Graps.
Love the Graps.
Sure do.
Had a great night of Graps tonight at the Barclays Center.
We sure did.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so the first match was the Miz Taraj versus the Hardy Boys and Kurt Angle's offspring, Jason Jordan. I didn't see a single second of this. Like I said,
didn't even hear about it. Who won?
I don't know.
Shoot, come on, you got the results page in
it
front
was
of you.
the Miz Taraj one. The Miz Taraj one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Starting the night off on a somber note, huh?
Yeah. So this match was given over 11 minutes worth of time. So I think it was weird that I thought with the Hardy Boys, and I mentioned this without even knowing who won. When we were sitting there later in the night trying to figure out what the rest of the card was going to be, because we were, looking at the clock. It was, we had like an hour and a half until 11. We were trying to figure out how many matches were left. And I was like, oh, yeah, the Miz Taraj match. And you looked it up and you were like, no, it already happened. I was like, isn't it a little odd to you that because when we got in there, it was for the Neville Tozawa match.
Yeah. That match had probably just started because we were at our seats and it was going on for a while.
Yeah, it had just started. But don't you think it's a little bit odd that the Hardy Boys were on the card in a spot where, I don't know, fair to say around 40% of the arena was full?
Oh, I wouldn't even go 40. When we got there, it wasn't 40. I don't think. The Hardy. It is weird that they kicked it off with that. You would think they would put that match right before the main card because the Hardy Boys are going to get a huge
It could be a breather
pop.
match. Yeah, it's for the pop. Yeah, I'm not even saying for the. I mean, obviously they still put on
him
quality
with
matches.
Jason Jorgel, as I like to call him, who is just dying a death.
Yeah, it's not a match that people were dying to see, but I saw a lot of Hardy Boys shirts.
Yeah, there was a lot.
So it was interesting that they put them on.
They got
early.
put in a weird spot. They're not in a feud right now, so it was like you don't want to take anything away from the people that should have SummerSlam matches. But as you're
Randy Orton Rusev, I mean that was not something. Well, we'll get to that.
How about we do this real quick?
Sure.
Let's review that match as if we saw it. So, in my opinion, Hardy Boys obviously got that big pop from the 20% of the crowd that was
Loved
there.
It. Yep.
Jason Jordan, he got that mixed reaction.
No reaction. It was kind of awkward, right? Because they don't know if he's a heel or if he's a face. But obviously, because he's with the face tag team, it's like I guess he's a face, but I want to boo him because this storyline's a little weird. So it was a weird reaction from the crowd.
So they start the match. Obviously, Jeff Hardy kicked it off.
Jeff Harvey.
Jeff Harvey, yep, as Mike Adamle would call him. And it was good when the Hardys were in there. When Bo Dallas and Kurt Axel got in, it got a little sloppy. That finishing stretch wasn't great. It was a little shaky.
Ring rust. I mean, this is their first pay-per-view match in quite some time.
It was kind of shaky. And then Jason Jordan, when he did that big fire-up, it was just nobody was there for it.
Right.
He pulled the straps down. Nobody was there for it.
It's part of that whole strap-down thing is the crowd reaction that it usually elicits, and there was no crowd there to see it. So.
Yeah, and then the Miz to Raj obviously stealing the win might set a Hardy Boys thing.
Yeah, we had to know that there was going to be some fuckery involved, so obviously that was the case. And Maurice, again, looked fantastic.
She looked great.
As always.
Yep.
Next match on the card was Neville.
Hold on there. I got to say one thing here. The Intercontinental Champion, The Miz.
Yeah.
There was a time, and maybe I'm dating myself, maybe I'm the salty, old, crusty, purist
My brother's
wrestling.
46. He's not.
There was a time when the Intercontinental Champion was the worker in the ring. There was a time when we looked forward to the Intercontinental Championship match in the ring, possibly more than even the main title match.
Yeah. The Scott Hall era there. Just watched that documentary today, so it's fresh in the mind. The Ultimate Warrior. There was a lot of guys that were Intercontinental champions, and that
Shawn Michaels
that
and Brett, cemented that title.
Mr.
Now
Perfect.
it's almost Mr.
Terry
Perfect.
Von
Von
Erich,
who never won the
Texas
big one.
Tornado.
Yeah, another one, Rick Rude, who never won the big one.
Yeah.
Great IC champ.
Surprising.
Ricky Steamboat.
It's a little bit it's morphing into the United States Championship now.
What's happening where we're just letting the Intercontinental Championship sometimes be defended on a pay-per-view, sometimes not.
And the champ in a 6-man with like Bo Dallas and Kurt Axel is a bad look.
And the fact that I'm pretty sure out of the last, 24 months, The Miz has held the title for 19 of them.
Yeah.
That's not a real statistic, but that's what it feels like.
It's close. I mean, Daniel Bryan winning it at WrestleMania 31 felt like, okay, here we go. The Intercontinental title
Means
the
something
prestige
again.
is coming back. And that's not just because I'm a Daniel Bryan fan. I mean, he went from main eventing WrestleMania
The year before.
and then he's the IC champ. He unfortunately got hurt, and then they put the fucking title on Ryback right away. And they had Daniel Bryan get in the ring and cut
like
this
Ryback?
big promo. I do.
He's hurdy.
I do
My
like
friend
Ryback.
Phil says that. I don't.
His matches with Kalisto towards the tail end of his WWE career were fantastic.
You think so?
Yeah, I really enjoyed them. The pre-show stopper, but it just wasn't the right call. I haven't cared about the IC title in a while. Kevin Owens, helped it, but not as much as it needed help.
We've gotten off on a tangent here.
We have. Let's get back to the next match.
The next match was Neville and Akira Tozawa. This match we actually did see. So this was hold on. Let me just rewind to our preview episode where we kind of went down the entire card and we predicted a bunch of stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't remember exactly who predicted what. I just remember by the end of the card I said something like, "That's a lot of fucking title changes." That we predicted.
Yeah.
Which doesn't normally happen. You don't normally go into a card and see as many title changes as we saw tonight.
It's usually one or two.
Yeah, I mean you can get a couple, but we got up until the fucking U.S. title match, and all of the matches were title changes.
Every single one.
Every single one, which I'm not complaining.
No,
because
it's okay.
I agree with the outcome of these matches.
We preach every week. We need more things to be unexpected.
Yeah.
And it was unexpected to get as many as we got.
Correct. So with the Neville versus Tozawa match, I think, do we both? No, you said Tozawa was going to retain.
I said if you want to make Tozawa, the guy.
Which he's not.
If you want to legitimize him at least,
Neville is
he
the
should have
only
retained.
guy in that division.
He is. And we really talk about this in depth. You'll hear the interview with The Big Show, who's our guest. We announced it on Instagram today. The Big Show is our guest on Wednesday, and we talked about this with him. And he talked about how Neville's had time. We've known Neville for years before
Did you
the
notice
Cruiserweight
that
division
they
happened.
stopped making it seem like a separate thing? There's no...
They did.
Yeah.
They didn't change the ropes or anything like that.
Which is fucking brilliant. Well, it's not brilliant. It's what they should have done all along if they wanted
Correct.
people to take it seriously.
Yes. This match was really good. I fear that now Tozawa might be like, fans are writing him off there like, oh, that was a fluke win when he beat Neville. But at the same time, like I said on last week's show, I like Neville as the champ. He's my champ. He never should have lost the title, obviously.
Correct.
But I'm happy for this run to continue.
So that brings me... You can't have it both ways, but I'm going to complain anyway. Like, Neville should be the champion, like you said. But now that you've made the entire division look completely inferior compared to Neville. So, and I made this point before, there is not a performer in the company or currently in that division who could legitimately challenge Neville for that championship, and I'm supposed to believe that he has a chance to defeat him, and I'm supposed to believe, like, afterwards that he's a legitimate champion.
It's a big issue. It's
until Enzo gets there, and even still, like, they've ruined him. Like, he's
Enzo. We're gonna talk about this later. Enzo's dead. He's
dead.
There's no coming back from tonight. It's the kind of dead where it's like Zack Ryder getting pushed off the stage in a wheelchair.
By
dead.
Kane. Shout out to Kane.
Shout out to Kane.
Shout out to Kane. Mayor Glenn Jacobs. I hope so.
Yeah,
we're gonna call him.
We're also gonna start a campaign probably this Wednesday. We're gonna get fucking Glenn Jacobs in office.
Yeah,
we're gonna make sure
that would be fucking great for him.
We're gonna make sure that he becomes the mayor of whatever fucking town.
I thought you meant in the Barstool office.
Oh,
if he
that'd
came
be
in
cool.
here,
That'd be cool. I mean, you would come in your pants.
I would literally die. I mean, like, I wouldn't even want to interview him on the show because I would talk to him for fucking hours.
We would have to get office manager Brett to set up some sparklers so he could do the hands up, hands down, and then Brett's in the background shaking sparklers.
When I was a kid, you know those like those pop things?
Yeah,
you throw them at the ground and they snap.
I got those down the shore. They were the big like down the shore
I used
thing
to
on the
buy
boardwalk.
like 6 boxes of those, and then I would hold them in my hands, and then I would do the cane pyro with them.
What a mark!
Yeah.
What a little fucking mark.
Yep, I used to
right.
do that all the time. Anyway, another tangent.
Another tangent.
Big tangent show.
I mean, it's midnight. We're gonna go on tangents.
Right.
Put up with it.
Yeah. So Neville goes over to Zawa. Like I said, it's the rightful champion. Never should have lost it in the first place. But this division, albeit yes, they've made strides towards making it better because they've they don't do the different color ropes, they don't do the different color mat. They've stopped making it feel like a piss break. Like this is not part of the show. This is a break in the show. That's a good thing. But the fact that there's no legitimate contender to Neville's championship is an issue.
Yeah, I do like I like this spot for the cruiserweight matches, and some people that I'm a big fan of the cruiserweights. Other big fans of the cruiserweights will probably disagree with me here. I think the pre-show is a perfect spot for it.
Yeah.
We saw it at WrestleMania, his match against Austin Aries, because you got to give these guys time. They're not given time to develop their characters, but Neville is very good at telling stories in the ring, and he's able to do that with time. And on the pre-show, they have as much time as they need. So I would continue putting these matches on the pre-show.
Let me ask you a question. I'll go down the list right now. So Neville and Tozawa, did they get more or less time than John Cena's match? John Cena and Baron Corbin.
I'm going to say more.
More time. Did they get more time or less time than Natalya and Naomi?
I'm going to say more.
More time. Did they get more time than Big Cass and the Big Show?
More.
More time. Did they get more time than Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt?
Less.
They got more time.
Wow.
Jinder Mahal and Shinsuke Nakamura.
Had to get more than that.
They got more.
Yep.
So, I mean, for being the Cruiserweight Championship on the pre-show, they got more time than a lot of
and they deserved
high-profile
it. It was good
matches.
Shit. It was really good shit.
Yeah. You know what else was really good shit?
I know it was good shit. I know it's coming up.
The fucking Usos versus the New Day in the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, which, again, you made this point while we were at the show. 1,000,000,000% agree with this. They probably were very spiteful that they were on the pre-show because they have actually... one of the big complaints that we both had going into the show is there were a few matches that they either had a poor build or just no build whatsoever. It was just thrown together. Like the Randy Orton and Rusev match.
Horrible. John Cena, Baron Corbin
John
had
Cena,
pretty
Baron
much no
Corbin,
build.
Jinder Mahal, Shinsuke Nakamura. There were a few where it's just like, all right, here you go.
Yeah.
We'll just have a match, pal.
Have some fun, damn it.
So that was this was a very well built match with great matches. It wasn't even just like run-ins. They had great matches to lead up to this match, and then they literally were the second best. I would say, fair to say, second best match of the night.
I agree with that completely. And one of my buddies tweeted it. He said every match they have, you're not stoked about, but once you're in the match, you're like, oh, this is fucking
great.
awesome. I feel the same way about NXT takeovers, and we're going to talk about that on Wednesday's show, NXT Takeover Brooklyn 3, which was incredible top to bottom. But it was like, yeah, this will probably be good. The Usos made their entrance. They got mixed reaction from the crowd. I turned to you. I was like, this is like, this feels kind of special. New Day came out, cut a decent promo. Crowd was kind of there for it. Crowd's really starting to fill in at this point. And then these fucking people, it was Xavier and Big E from New Day. They had an incredible, incredible match. I would put this with The Shield versus the Usos from Money in the Bank 2013, which me and my brother were at, and WLC from Extreme Rules 2014, which we were also at, as those are like my 3 favorite pre-show matches of all time. The crowd was going apeshit, and it's so funny. Trent tweeted us. Trent watches, as we've said on the podcast, Raw and SmackDown with me now, and he picks up little things that I say. So he's been picking up false finish. He loves the term false finish. Maybe because it sounds sexual, I don't know. But he just tweeted us. He said, this is going to be false finish city, and we all laughed about it. This match was false finish city more than any match on the card.
Yeah. And, this match, I think, was the only match besides the main event that got the This Is Awesome chant.
Yeah.
And it was louder for this match than it was in the main event.
Yeah, the crowd was fucking going crazy for this match, and they deserved it.
Yep.
So they put this on the pre-show earlier in the week, and there was a little, discussion on Twitter, should this be on the pre-show? And a lot of people said no. They said Natalya and Naomi should have been on the pre-show.
Correct.
Now, you run into a weird issue there where they tried to do that at WrestleMania, and there was a big backlash from a lot of women. And they were like,
but there was another women's title match on the card.
But you have to
spot.
understand when the WWE is beating us over the head with the fact that they are giving women the same opportunities as men, and then they're putting the women on the pre-show. It's a weird look. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it puts them in a weird position.
I think it's weirder to have a match like that on the pre-show because that was the second longest match of the night.
Yeah. It was. Listen, it was great. I bought I want to say 90% of the false finishes I thought were the finish.
Yeah.
And being there live, it's harder to buy finishes because you see someone getting up on the outside, getting ready to break up a pinfall. It's more difficult. Kevin Dunn doing the camera angles kills it on TV, and it's like, okay, you can't see someone coming. This, it was so fucking good. One of the best tag team matches of the year.
Yeah, that was literally, I think they built this perfectly because even they didn't shoot their load too quick in their previous matches where it was like, oh, how are they going to top this? I think that they built it up and they up and up and up. Yep.
Like Usos are some legit contenders, and the spot they had to finish where Uso number 1 threw Xavier Woods up in the ring to the outside onto a Samoan drop. That might have been the most brutal bump of the night.
Yep.
I could never imagine taking that. My ribs would just explode.
Next up, we had John Cena and Baron Corbin. We
kicked off the main card.
Yeah, this was
no pyro, by the way.
No pyro all night.
All night.
Not even.
My brother said he's been a stagehand for a while, and he said the FDNY might have shut him down.
I'm not trying to blame anybody. I'm not trying to point fingers. I just know from experience there are situations, there are incidents, there are occasions where fire department could pull the plug and say, sorry, this is not up to code. This is not in check with what we need everything to be. And pyro will get pulled. Yeah.
It was weird because this is the second biggest show of the year, and nobody had pyro all night. No pyro at the beginning of the show, none for Brock, none for AJ usually has it.
Sheamus and Cesaro.
Sheamus, yeah, it was very strange. Had to be something like that.
They've been cutting back on pyro all year, though.
I know, but for
SummerSlam,
this,
yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I was disappointed. I was not happy about that. I wanted some fucking pyro. But yeah, like you said, first match on the card, John Cena and Baron Corbin. And we mentioned this match earlier in the show because we looped it in with one of those matches that was just poorly built. We didn't give a shit about it. It was just two guys that needed a match on the card.
Decent build on the go-home show with the cash-in, but not enough.
But that was the thing, is that I think... neither of us saw the cash-in coming on SmackDown.
Yep.
We thought that it made the most sense for John Cena to go over Baron Corbin, no problem, and then have him cash in later in the night.
Yeah.
That would have made the most sense.
It would have.
And then they just ruined it on SmackDown. This match made no fucking sense because it was just like, of course John Cena won. Why wouldn't he win?
Kind of
this
a
guy
weird
just
match.
got pinned in 5 fucking seconds.
I didn't hate the match. Cena started off by going to the outside, grabbing a headset, putting on JBL's hat, kind of toying with Baron Corbin.
Trolling with him.
He was, and it was a little weird. If John Cena's going to do that, Baron Corbin goes over. You know what I mean? Oh, John fucking didn't take Baron seriously enough.
Yeah, he got
got caught.
He's kind of buried.
They told a decent story in how much time did they have? How long did this match go?
10, 15.
All right, so it was a 10-minute match. Decent story in that Baron Corbin kept doing the classic big boss man where he slides under the turnbuckle, comes back in, and hits Cena while he's unexpecting. They did it 3 times. Cena finally caught on the 3rd time and hit him with an attitude adjustment. Just one put him away. Baron Corbin's definitely in the doghouse for something. I
What
don't know
the fuck
what
did
it
he
is.
do?
He had that argument with Dave Meltzer on Twitter. I know Vince doesn't like when people talk to Dave Meltzer for good reason. I like Dave, but if you're in that company, it is a weird look. It was,
Wait, hold
it was
on.
okay,
Back
but
up. I didn't know about this Twitter incident. What happened?
with Dave Meltzer.
Yes, and Baron
I
Corbin.
think Meltzer just said Baron doesn't have it, and Baron hit him with the classic well, you've never been in a ring. Talk to me when you've been in a ring, which is just such bullshit. That's like telling Roger Ebert he's never made a movie. It's like, yeah, nobody fucking gives a shit. That's not a real argument you could use.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fine match. Kind of weird that they kick the show off with this. Obviously, the crowd's hot for Cena, but it was just
That's one way to get the crowd.
It was just there.
By the way, shout out Big Boss Man, SummerSlam 91. We talked about this when you mentioned it. SummerSlam 91, Big Boss Man and the Mountie loser spends a night in New York City jail match.
Yeah.
I marked out big time at how much the Mountie hated being fingerprinted in a New York City jail cell.
Yep.
Loved it to this day. Can go back on the WWE Network, check it out, watch the Mountie cry like a little bitch getting fingerprinted.
Yep. And the Mountie trained Kevin Owens. Jacques Rougeau. Kevin Owens always told me he's such a dick. And he talks about that on his documentary, about how much of a dick he was.
Huh.
What's up next?
Next up is Natalya and Naomi for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And we were sitting behind that rat fuck Rosenberg.
Oh, fuck that guy.
We were sitting behind him right before we were watching the pre-show, and Carmella was up there with the briefcase.
She was, and she was wearing this New York Nets bodysuit that was making me weak.
Yeah, she was looking pretty good.
Yep.
Good for you, Big Gas.
And
Ellsworth.
Rosenberg, for a guy who talks about dudes trying to look cool, he had an awful lot of sparkles on that jacket.
Did,
he was
and you
wearing.
know what? I saw a picture of it. We didn't really see this. He was wearing a fucking Bobby Heenan jacket with his initials on it. Not cool, dude.
Not cool.
Not cool. You're
Not
not.
cool
you're
at
not
all.
paying tribute to Bobby Heenan.
There's
Go fuck
tribute,
yourself.
and then there's coattails,
Yeah.
and then there's coattails you shouldn't be riding.
Apparently,
Rosenberg, lay off the
apparently,
coattails.
apparently Jerry Lawler called him out on that, which I'm happy about.
What did he say?
I don't know. I just saw on Twitter they were like Jerry Lawler called Rosenberg out for his poor attempt at a fucking Bobby Heenan jacket, which good.
Good. Fuck Rosenberg.
Fuck that guy.
So we saw Carmella on the pre-show with the briefcase, and it was I took that as okay, we might if she's on the pre-show at the briefcase, we might see a cash in tonight. And then during the Natalya Naomi match, they flashed Carmella in the back, watching it on TV, and that's when I knew that she wasn't cashing in.
So this is I don't want to go on another tangent, but this is a weird irk of mine. Why is it that every fucking time they cut to someone in the back watching TV, they're standing next to the TV, next to it, looking at it from a weird angle? Back in the Attitude Era, they would cut to Austin in the back and he'd just be staring at a TV like a normal human being.
Yeah.
Now they like the camera angle of someone side-eyeing a TV like it's a flat screen. Stop doing that.
Yeah, you
Come
gotta
on.
stop. They'd be, back in the day, they'd be in the locker room. They wouldn't be backstage. They'd be in their locker room, sitting on a fucking steel chair and just watching it on a box TV that's on a stack of books or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this was, like we said, there were no.
There's a
title...
little chatter about a cash in too, on the concourse going in. I heard people talking you think Carmella's going to cash in? You think tonight's the night? A lot of people did think it was the night.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be the night, but I felt another failure. And you said no, you can't have back-to-back
I said
failures.
You can't do back-to-back failures.
But
in the
that's
same
why
week.
it makes sense, is because you think that they can't do it, and then bam, they fucking do it.
That's fair. I liked this match. I thought this match was good. The crowd didn't care about either of these people, probably because of the poor build and because Natalya has been very stale for a long time. I thought they got to the good spots right away. They started doing crazy suplexes on the outside. Naomi was taking bumps into the LED ring post.
Naomi cried after the match. Work or shoot?
Work. I think she's really good at selling stuff like that. I think she's done it once before, maybe to an Alexa Bliss loss. But I dug this match. I enjoyed it.
They give a shit. You can see it in their work. They give a shit.
Yeah,
They're trying hard.
They went out there and tried to have a good match. And Natalya won, which surprised me, at least, that she walked out champ. I
Can't
thought
teach
maybe
an old
Natalya
dog new
wins,
tricks.
Carmella cashes in, whatever. She got her big moment, and I said, this might be a Total Divas thing.
It could be.
Could be Natalya finally gets her big break season finale.
I was gonna say a season finale type thing.
After season 1, she was like, they're making me host the red carpet. this is going. I mean, people are going to call us out. They're going to be like, "You shouldn't know the intricate details of Total Divas storylines."
Speaking of Total Divas, this is a question that just came to my mind. How much of Total Divas and what we see on the E Network or the WWE Network regarding the Divas is going to come from?
Superstars. They're not divas anymore.
Well, how much of it is going to come from WWE Creative, and how much of it comes from E Network or
I think
WWE
it's all E.
Creative?
I think it's pretty much all E, and WWE will work with them, but I think it's mostly E.
Do you think E is creating the storylines?
No, I think E maybe. Let's say we have no information that this is a Total Divas thing. Let's just say it is. Maybe E was like, "Hey, we want Natalya to get her big break," and WWE said that'd be good for ratings. Let's put the title on her at SummerSlam. I have no information. That's just a fucking guess. Yeah. I'm clueless.
It's weird. Yeah. And then they also advertised No Mercy, and Alexa Bliss is like the front and center.
Is she? I didn't see this.
You didn't see that? It was weird. It was like a creepy promo.
I did see that. I didn't know that was for No Mercy.
Yeah, it was for No Mercy.
Okay. There's like Harley Quinns around her.
Sort of a cheerleader, high school football game cheerleading kind of chant she's doing.
Yeah, it was like, but they were wearing like the masks from The Purge.
Yeah. Which, like, cool.
It's hot.
Kind of a cool look. Yeah, Alexa makes it move.
Yeah, she does. Next up, Big Cass and the Big Show with Enzo Amore suspended above the ring in a shark cage.
Yeah.
Got to sell those cage suspension
the crash cage or something,
sets.
I think they call it.
Yeah.
So there's so much to touch on here. Big Show's our guest on the show this week. Let's just preface this. We love him. We're not talking shit about him. This might be the worst match of the year. This fucking blew. Enzo came out. He cuts his promo, which was okay. Crowd was there for it.
It wasn't okay. It was weird. He fucking was like
weird.
Quoting Lil Kim.
Let's go back.
It's like he tried to.
It was weird.
He tried to quote Lil Kim and get the crowd. He's like, remember that line Lil Kim had when it's all about like power, money, and respect.
Let's
and
go back a year, Jared. Let's go back 1 year to last SummerSlam. Enzo and Big Cass come out. They open the
most
show.
over people in the whole show.
And the Barclays Center almost lifts off the ground and levitates.
Yeah.
Enzo's in Yankee pinstripes, and he starts going Notorious B.I.G., and the whole place is singing along with him.
Yeah.
We fast forward 1 year. Enzo's by himself.
1/4 the reaction, maybe.
He's in some kind of animal leopard
I think
print.
it was a Knicks jersey, but it was a weird like Gucci Knicks jersey.
And he goes, Lil Kim. It's all just a step down, and it's a shame. I mean,
I'm
they
worried
couldn't have
about
been
it.
more
Cass
over
didn't
than
get
they
a great
were.
reaction. Big Show got no reaction at all.
There was a "This is boring" chant during the match.
Yeah. I did. There was a creative spot when we were saying, what's Enzo going to drop from the shark cage? Brass knuckles for the Big Show, something like that. It's very creative when Enzo takes the jersey off, takes the pants off, and he's got oil strapped to his leg, and he starts oiling himself up. He puts on like latex gloves, rubs it all over, and then slips out of the cage. It was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, this is a boring match, but this is going to freshen it up. Yeah. He's going to do a big dive onto Big Cass, finally fucking get his. He drops from the cage, gets a big boot.
In the fucking face.
Cass hits a big boot on Show, and the match is over. And an elbow, and the match is over. And the whole place was just like, that fucking sucked. It wasn't even like, yeah, we really hate Big Cass. What a heel. It was like, that was horrible.
Yeah, it was not good. And, you know, this was one of the things that we talked about a few weeks ago about how, you know, Vince wants more moments than long-term planning. Maybe you should go back to long-term planning, Vince, because the fact that you split up Enzo and Cass, they were one of your hottest acts in the entire company. One of the top merch sellers in your company.
They were a big asset to the company.
Yes, you split them up.
Not anymore.
And this has not been a launching pad for Big Cass as a singles competitor, and Enzo is essentially dead. Yeah,
Essentially. He's 6 feet deep.
He is dead. He's dead. They've buried Enzo, and I don't know where he goes from here because obviously the feud with the Big Show concludes. I don't think anyone wants to see another match with Big Cass and the Big Show. I don't think that this program should continue. And if Big Cass moves on to, say, someone like Rusev, maybe that's interesting. Two big guys.
Different brands, but whatever.
Whatever. Just an example, Bob. The
All right.
fuck.
Sorry.
It's
on me.
Like, where does Enzo go once he completely detaches from the Big Cass feud? Like, where does he go?
I don't know. Send him back to NXT. Teach him how to work. I don't fucking know.
It's not.
He's dead, and my
You
issue
can't
here
even
is like
repackage him. Like he is what he is.
he is, and obviously he's not over right now, but he was over to the point where you can't repackage him. Cass is so good, and it hurts me to see Cass like go through this feud because it should. If you're gonna break them up, it should be a launching pad for him. He should move on to the next step, and it's not working. And like he could be a big monster. We talked about that match in September, the Universal Title match where he was in the Fatal 4-Way. People were like, maybe they fucking put the title on him. Like that might be unique. He could be a big guy. He's a big guy, obviously. He could be a big player on Monday Night Raw, and he's not being treated that way.
No, and I think that they have suffered because of this unwillingness to plan long term. Like, the moment was great. Like that was
Such
the
a good moment.
promo of the year.
Yeah. Yes,
promo
agreed.
of the year. What's come of it has
And
been
like the next week too was like maybe the second best promo of the year.
Yes.
It was like, wow, this is going places.
I remember
No.
texting you watching the second one, and I
Yeah.
was like, these motherfuckers are like toying with my heart right now.
Yeah.
And I was excited to see where it was going to go. I was uncomfortable because I didn't agree with the split.
Yep.
But when we got back-to-back weeks of great promos to come out of it, I was like, I'm interested to see what the payoff is.
I will say, for all the people that told me let it play out the night they broke up, and I said this is not good for either of them. Fuck you, buddy.
Yeah.
Here's how I hold out hope for the Big Cass, Enzo, what happens to each of them. There was a time when the hottest team in the business was the Rockers.
Yeah.
And they have what I'd call the all-time breakup.
Yeah,
I mean,
of
there's a
course.
website named after them, Barbershop Window,
Yeah.
shout out.
I used to design for them. I still have designs.
Free advertising.
I
Dave,
do
I
get,
don't work for you, so I can get free advertising.
I get like $2 every month from them. It's sick.
After which, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty go on to have their feud. Not a hot feud, not a memorable
okay.
feud.
I like their matches, but I'm balls deep in
They
this
don't
shit.
go down in history. They're not anything anybody's going to really be talking about when we go back and dig through the history books. And yet, one of them became Mr. WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Big Cass is going to go on to be one of the all-time greats, but I'm not ready to bury each of them and call them dead.
I'm ready to call Enzo dead, and almost to no fault of his own, but he has been cemented in the viewer's mind as someone that talks and talks and talks
And can't back it
will
up.
never back it up.
Yeah. So that's why I'm not ready to officially bury Enzo. And the same thing with Cass. Where we are right now tonight after that match is dog shit. It's the biggest factor is where they both go from here. Tell me what Enzo is doing next. Tell me what Big Cass is doing next. Because I don't think that, this Big Show, Enzo, Big Cass feud is just ready to pull the plug on both of them as singles competitors. And like Enzo's not even a singles competitor. He's just been floating around literally during the Cass and Big Show feud. So
He's been riding the Big Show's coattails and doing the it's like with that shark.
It's like
Shout out
Shrek
Young
and
Page
Donkey.
It's that fucking shark and the little fish just eat off the shark's dead skin. That's what Enzo's doing.
Yep. So I'm interested to see.
Great mammal reference by me.
So then let me ask you then. Do you think that this is over?
Yeah, I think now it is.
You think it's over?
Yep.
You don't think that the next time Enzo comes out, what he says promo-wise is going to have nothing to do with Big Cass?
I can't tell you that. I don't know.
So it's not over.
It might not be over. It's just like it
not
should be.
over.
It should be over.
It should be,
What's
but
that
it's-
song? What's the song you're singing there?
I don't know.
It's just a random song you made up.
That was a good song, though. It
All
is a
right.
song.
Next match was it almost played like it was a mirror to our podcast last week when we said Randy Orton Rusev. We don't really care about this match. All right, next.
I called it, but it was backwards.
Yeah.
I said it was going to be a squash match in favor of Rusev, and it ended up being a...
Which I wish it was. Rusev's so good.
Yeah. It ended up being a squash match in favor of Randy Orton.
Yeah, so he attacks Orton right away before the match, which is good. Came out of the crowd, surprised everyone. And then Orton just hit him with an RKO. Rusev hit the RVD cell. Where
Yeah.
he planted his skull into the mat.
Yes.
Awesome cell.
Like,
and when you
legs in the
show
air.
the slow motion replay, it was very safe. He didn't like really spike his neck. He took it on the shoulder, but it looked great. It was funny. I logged into Twitter and all the tweets just said "fuck this company," and I think,
Really?
yeah, Nate was like WWE's dog shit, and it was like I didn't feel that strongly about it because I think Rusev still does have big plans in his future, which he should. He's great. But it was like we kept saying they don't deserve a spot on this card, and it's almost like WWE was like, yeah,
We
true.
agree. Yeah. No, I had no problem with that finish. I don't think it doesn't
I was fine
bury
with it.
Rusev. Yeah,
It's whatever.
I just said the one
It's
thing.
like he got caught. Like, whatever.
Yeah, and we had talked about how this was one of the matches with essentially no build whatsoever, so we had no reason to care about this. And after we saw the finish, I was like, "That's how you make people care." It's you don't normally see shit like that,
Sure,
so I'll take it.
Let's hope Rusev wins this feud when it's over.
Sure. Do you want to take a guess on the length of that match?
I'm gonna go. Well, Rusev went for like something. Randy Orton ducked out of the way. 8 seconds.
10 seconds.
Ooh, close. Price is Right rules. I might have got that.
True. Next up was Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship. Who did you pick in this one?
I think I picked Alexa.
Yeah, I think we both picked Alexa. So swing and a miss there.
Yeah, fuck.
I think that made the most sense though. I didn't. It was fine. It was a good match.
I'll say this: Sasha needed a pay-per-view win. In singles matches on pay-per-view, was something like 0-9.
So I'm curious because this was supposed to be Bayley.
Yeah.
Was the plan for Bayley to win?
You would have to assume, yeah.
I don't think that you should assume that.
Bayley was getting booed bad in Brooklyn too.
I know.
Bad.
They showed her backstage for 5 seconds and they booed the shit out of her like a Roman boo.
I know.
What's the deal with that? Because I thought it was a
don't fucking
Toronto
know.
thing. It was
I
just a
know.
Toronto thing at first, and now
Maybe
Brooklyn.
it's stuck from that. It's such a shame. She's so fantastic in the ring.
Not good on the mic.
Promo, she's not good, but like I say all the time, they worked around that in NXT and it was fine.
Part of
'Cause
her charm.
It was part of her charm. It was like, yeah, like she's the shy girl who can't talk on the mic in front of people. She gets nervous. It was like it's something likable because we could all relate to that. And on the main roster, they brought her up and she like immediately won the title. It was like, no, that's not what her character should be doing. She's the underdog who's nervous and shy. And now she's getting booed. Now what's the fucking play with her? You can't continue as a babyface if she's going to get booed like this. You got to go like 2003 Rock and turn her
coming
heel.
back from the movies?
Yeah, turn her heel and be like, you guys booed me. Like, I'm not fucking into you. And then eventually try to turn her babyface again. Or it sucks to say this, you might have to send her back down to NXT for a bit.
Really?
If you send her down to NXT and maybe she ends Asuka's streak, I don't know what the fuck
You can't
you can do with her, but she'll be beloved in
getting
NXT.
booed. You can't do that. Like her in-ring ability is main roster ready.
I would put her right there with Charlotte as the best. Her match with Sasha at NXT Brooklyn 1 is one of my favorite matches of all time, legitimately.
Yeah.
I think the psychology in that match is some of the best ever told. Working the hand, which you don't see often. Working a hand is like, big show, big cast, but usually it's an arm, a leg, a neck, back, whatever.
Randy Orton does that a lot.
Yeah, he does the
Hand
fucking stomps, yeah. Spamming those in video games will make anyone rage quit. But that was my match of the year that year. I thought Bayley... I said the same thing about her that I say about Johnny Gargano. Like, if the company just stays out of her way, she will be the biggest thing there is. And they gave her bad material every week. They gave her bad booking every week. And here we are. Crowd doesn't like her.
Booing the shit out of her.
One of the most hated people all night.
But I don't know. I don't think that like booing her that strongly is like the right thing to do, but I can definitely see being down on her character.
It's tough for me though. It's like
because
none of it's her fault.
No, it's not. But I think for when she was down in NXT, all the talk about her coming up was she could be the women's John Cena.
Yes.
And look at what the reaction is for John Cena. Like, do you want her to be the women's John Cena? Because he gets fucking booed when he goes into buildings like that.
I think they just meant that as like the face of the division.
Yeah, but it's also like, for the kids.
Yeah.
And the adults don't like what's for the kids.
I guess so.
They boo what's for the kids.
I found out tonight that you're not as big a John Cena guy as I thought you were.
No. I like John Cena as a person. I like him. I love him as an in-ring performer. I just think his character is like it's been the same for the last
it just works,
decade.
though. I mean, Hogan
it doesn't
was the same
work because he
forever.
gets
I fucking
booed.
love Cena. I think Cena's so good on the mic.
He is good
Daniel
on the
Bryan
mic.
wrote about it in his book. He said if John Cena's cutting a serious promo, there's nobody in the business that can match him. And like Punk could match him.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
active. Punk was the fucking best on the mic ever.
arguable, but
Nope.
I'm not going to argue it because
All right, thank you.
I would probably agree with that.
Thank you.
Another match, this reminded me of the SmackDown Women's title match where the crowd wasn't into it, but I
I
enjoyed
felt like
it.
they were into this one. They were
They
like,
were in the closing stretch. They were. In the beginning, they weren't.
at the beginning they were because when they announced Sasha Banks, like they love Sasha when they showed her.
Entrances were big.
When they were the segment that Bayley was in was Sasha walking out to the
Yeah.
ring in the back. They cheered the shit out of Sasha, but then when she got into the ring and they said from Boston, Massachusetts,
Yeah.
then they booed her.
Yeah.
And they
Classic
cheered
New Yorkers.
Yeah, those fucking get over it. You're in second place. Like get the fuck over it. Like don't
I
be
don't
mad
think they
at
were all
us.
thinking about baseball.
Why else would you be mad at Boston right now?
Because we fucking hate the Red Sox.
Okay then. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying current baseball.
Yeah, whatever. And then they cheered Alexa Bliss, who has been getting cheered at these big shows. I think
Yeah.
like the
She
smart
gets a
fans.
reaction on Raw too.
Yeah,
I think she's
she's appreciated
awesome.
because
She
I
is so
think
good.
she was. We heard so much about Becky and Charlotte and Sasha. Who am I missing? And Bayley, but Alexa was never looped into like the women's revolution
No.
of wrestling. But she's one of the best performer, like on the mic, definitely
all around. She's
Yeah. She's great. And she was never looped into like this new era of women's wrestlers that are so fantastic that you have to tune in to see every week. And I think that she's benefited
She
from
was
that.
very green at that time, though. She had just started. She's super improved.
Yes.
In a short period of time. I don't know if I've ever said this on the podcast. I know I've said it in the blog on Twitter, but the biggest, if you were to tell me in the next 10 years, women will main event WrestleMania, who will those women be? I would instantly, without question, say it's going to be Alexa Bliss versus Charlotte.
I was gonna say Charlotte versus Sasha.
It'll be a face Alexa Bliss versus a heel Charlotte.
I bet
And
you
that
if,
match would be massive.
I think if I could in the next 5 years, I think we will see it.
I hope so. I legitimately hope so. I think it'd be
But
fucking awesome.
it's not gonna be a one-on-one match. It's gonna be like
I think it should be.
it should be. I don't even agree that it should be. I think that they should do like the 4 horsewomen, like in a fatal four-way.
That would be very big.
That's what they should do. If you're gonna
Their
make
match
it,
at WrestleMania 32 without Bayley stole the show. Best match of the night.
yeah. But if they're going to do it, it's obviously going to be with this group of women. Like they're the ones that deserve it.
Yep.
And you want to do it while they're still in their physical primes, and while people still care about them.
I thought Charlotte and Sasha should have main evented last SummerSlam over Brock and Randy Orton and that weird shoot match where
Wait.
Brock fucking sliced Orton's
Did
head open.
Charlotte and Sasha main event Hell in a Cell? No.
Yeah, they
That-
did.
They closed the
They
show.
did, yes. But they didn't announce it the week of, so they almost couldn't even capitalize on, like, this is a giant moment in wrestling history. This is one of the bigger moments in wrestling history. And,
Very forgettable match.
yeah. I enjoyed the
It
shit out of it, though. I loved
flopped.
it.
No,
I keep
that
saying that tonight, but I
sucked.
really love that match.
No, that match.
The
was not
finish
good.
was really bad because Sasha wasn't heavy
She
enough to
couldn't
go through
break the table, and it finished out of nowhere.
I could sympathize with that. We did some commercials for the podcast where I wasn't heavy enough to break a table.
True. I think it's his
Partially
table's
on
fault.
office manager Brett for ordering a beer pong table for us, but
Yeah, way to go, Brett.
Should have chiseled it first.
Oh, by the way, we didn't even mention Sasha Banks wins.
Oh, yeah.
She's the new
Sasha
women's
beat
champion.
Alexa. Oh, we did mention that because we said would it be Bayley?
Oh, right. Yeah. But I think that Alexa Bliss should have retained. I'm not like pissed off that Sasha Banks is the champion, but I think that Alexa Bliss deserved to retain on that show.
Sure.
Next
I got no
up,
issue.
the Demon King,
Oh yeah,
Finn Balor.
not Finn Balor, the Demon King, Finn Balor.
The Demon King, Finn Balor, takes on Bray Wyatt. For nothing. There's nothing on the line.
For the spooky championship.
Yeah, they were very supernatural
for the inaugural Papa Shango award.
invitational.
For the wearing makeup at SummerSlam and not getting hurt for a year.
Yep.
Match.
Yeah, it was the build to this you didn't like.
No, I liked until this week. I didn't like
You
the
like
blood.
the blood thing,
shit
because
was-
they didn't.
It was weird.
They like said that it wasn't blood. Like
and
he
they were
dumped a
they were
bucket
like,
of blood
it's
on him.
acid. It's gold, fucking
it's-
acid.
yeah,
Whatever. Oh yeah.
It was weird. And then
And I didn't like that. Like they weren't subtle about. We all knew he was going to be the demon at SummerSlam, and they were like, "He will be the demon." It's like, no fucking shit. Don't tell
Yeah.
us that.
yeah, he's like, They bring out the demons in me.
Yeah, and we were there live, but one of my friends texted me and said Cole like read off like a weird sheet of fun facts about Finn Balor where it like took all the mystique out of his character, and he was like, he puts on this paint for big matches and he turns into a different. It's like, don't explain that. They were never like Papa Shango puts on that face paint and he can, really toy with the minds of his opponents, and it's not real blood, but like, we don't need to know that information.
Yeah, it was weird. And this Bray Wyatt back to his losing ways, and this is one of the things I said.
We can't gloss over the Finn Balor entrance.
No, it was great.
Best entrance in the business.
Yeah, it's great. But
great paint tonight too. Changes it up always.
they gave away the finish to this match when they had Bray Wyatt beat Finn Balor clean last week on Raw.
Yeah.
You knew that Finn Balor was not losing back-to-back matches clean.
Slightly protects Wyatt though that the Demon has never lost. It's like the Demon is almost like a protected, person.
So
Demon
then-
lost once in NXT.
This is a random he did lose
Once. His last NXT takeover against Samoa Joe.
for the title.
Yes.
Okay.
And the fucked up part was they put it in a steel cage and Joe pinned him. It's like, if you put it in a steel cage, have Joe escape so the Demon's never been pinned.
Right.
You want to, have that stat. They didn't. They fucking pinned him. And I was like, that was weird.
Not great.
He had black and white Demon paint that night. Look that up. That was really cool.
So the black and red demon has never been pinned.
True.
Yeah.
When there's red in his attire, never been pinned.
Never been pinned. Like you said, entrance was great. Match was, I think forgettable is strong. It was a match.
It was good. I thought it was good. There's nothing like crazy special about it.
There was nothing
was good.
memorable. Like thinking back on it, I don't remember anything besides the entrance and just.
They did some cool spots where Bray Wyatt was upside down and the Demon was like,
But you knew that was going to
exorcism thing up.
It was the spooky match.
Yeah, spooky match.
The spooky invitation.
I thought they should have kept the fog going around the ring the whole match. It would have been cool.
that would have been cool.
Yeah.
I was waiting to see some worms or maggots in the ring.
Yeah.
Oh, remember that
see that too.
WrestleMania?
They should have. They should have spooked it up a little bit more.
Bray Wyatt sold being spooked by the Demon pretty well in the beginning of the match too.
But he shouldn't have
He had a
been.
look on his face where he was like, "Ooh, this is out of the ordinary."
But like Bray Wyatt, when he was like feuding with the Undertaker, when the Undertaker would do
The
his,
Undertaker was never there though. That was a weird feud.
yeah,
They were never face to face before WrestleMania.
yeah. But when he was doing all his spooky shit, he would laugh at it.
Yeah.
He would never get spooked
Until
out by this.
Undertaker struck the Sister Abigail chair with lightning. Wrestling's so dumb. That was so dumb.
Yeah.
It was like weird Adobe After Effects lightning that was clearly a template. That was something.
Yeah,
Yeah, this match was fine.
it was fine. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins challenged Cesaro and Sheamus for the Raw Tag Team Championships. This was a very predictable match.
You think so?
Yes.
How so?
Were they going? What was the point of all that build up for them to reunite just to lose this match?
There were some moments where I thought they were going to lose, for sure.
I never for 1 second thought that they were going to lose.
Did you not enjoy this match?
I enjoyed the match. It was a good match. It's just that there was, like in the Usos in the New Day match, I didn't know who was going to win that one.
Yeah.
I did not know who was going to win that one.
I thought going into this that Dean and Seth would win, but there were moments in the match, false finishes, where I bought Cesaro and Sheamus retaining.
Tell you what I didn't see. I didn't ever see Cesaro running into the crowd,
Oh
Yeah,
for the
this was the
beach
highlight
ball.
of the match.
capturing
Yeah.
a beach ball and ripping it to shreds
Yeah,
coming.
that was fantastic.
If you're listening to this podcast and you're one of these people that goes to wrestling shows and you chant for beach balls and you chant for things other than the wrestling, and don't fucking... These people are going to tweet me and say, have some fun, damn it. You don't have fun at a wrestling show. I have fun. Nobody has more fun than me. Believe me. Believe me.
I
Nobody
am
has
fun, damn it.
Believe me. Nobody has more fun than me at a wrestling show. These fucking beach ball fucks are my least favorite people on earth. Do not bring a beach ball to a wrestling show. Do not hit a beach ball. If you hit a beach ball to me, I will pop it like Cesaro popped it tonight. He ran into the crowd full speed ahead after a security guard had confiscated the beach ball, grabbed it. The security guard looked like he saw a ghost. He was like, whoa, what the fuck?
He
was
was
freaked
scared,
out.
He was
man.
spooked. I mean,
What
if
is
a guy
happening to
Cesaro
me
size
right now
runs
is
up
what
to
he
you
was
and everyone in the
shirtless
crowd
guy.
is like standing up,
yeah, the crowd just started cheering at it and like looking at him. So like, he probably thought he was about to get
popped that
tackled.
beach ball, and I went bananas. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I loved it.
But you actually thought that there was a chance that they were not going to win this match.
Yeah, there were moments in the match where I thought, like, ooh, Cesaro and Sheamus got it here.
It makes no sense. It makes no business sense to
Yeah, no, I
have
agree.
the reaction that Dean and Seth got the second that they put their fists together on Raw last week. How are you going to
great video package leading up to this match, by the way. Really good video
Shout
package.
out to the promo makers. That was a good one. But it made no sense whatsoever to have that type of build-up, get that huge of a pop that they reunited just to have them lose at the second biggest show of the year in their first attempt at winning the Raw Tag Team titles. Just because it's predictable doesn't mean it's not enjoyable. I still enjoyed the match, and I
my
enjoyed
favorite
the
match of all
payoff.
time was the most predictable match of all time, and that's the main event of WrestleMania 30. So,
Yeah.
very predictable, very enjoyable. I liked their coordinated red ring gear for this. Seth Rollins had some cool tights. Roman had red ring gear in the main event, which made us you're like, ooh, is this a thing? The finishing stretch of this match was one of the coolest in-ring parts of the night, with Rollins doing the crazy Hurricane Rana from the top rope into the whole thing.
Shout out from the
hitting
top
some
rope.
super kicks. He hits his really shitty Kenny Omega V-trigger, and then Dean Ambrose hits the Dirty Deeds for the win. Huge pop from the crowd. One of the bigger pops of the night.
Big pop. Your Seth saltiness is fading, but it still exists.
He did do like a Young Bucks kick, not the super kick. Obviously, I'm not attributing that to the Young Bucks, but he did like the turnbuckle kick, and I was like, ooh, Young Bucks move. He's expanding into people he steals from.
At this point, I hope he just does it just to troll you. I hope that someone, obviously he's not going to waste his time listening to this podcast, but I hope that someone who knows him is listening, and then they know that Robbie Fox is a big Seth Rollins hater because he takes other people's moves and he just like fucking hits somebody with a rock bottom and a Stone Cold Stunner next week.
At least he's Tarantinoing it. He's stealing from the best.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
Just fucking hits a people's elbow.
Steals he just starts doing Hogan's moveset. People start hitting him, and he's like, no. You! That'd be something.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see where this goes because it didn't go where I wanted it to go tonight, but we'll get to that. Next up.
Oh, and let me just say this. This tag team winning the tag team championships, Dean and Seth, they can main event any Raw pay-per-view you want. And Brock retained in the main event. We'll get to that. He will not be at every Raw pay-per-view. You now have titles that can main event shows, and it's the tag team titles, which we haven't had in a really long time. Imagine a main event built around the Hardy Boys versus Dean and Seth.
That'd be cool.
Giving that WWE Network my $9.99 that month.
Yeah. I guess, well, they're going to have the stupid rematch clause that we both hate.
Yeah.
So this feud is not yet over. But when they do, that'd be it. I'd like to see that.
Yep.
I would like to see that. Even though it's two faces, I don't know what they would do there.
No, that's fine. I mean, Hogan Warriors, two faces. One of the greatest matches of all
That was
time.
like 75 years ago. Anyway, AJ Styles and Kevin Owens for the United States Championship with Shane McMahon as
Shane
the
O'Mac.
special guest referee. I tried to go outside the box on my prediction here. I thought that Shane McMahon was going to screw over AJ Styles and align himself with Kevin Owens, his choice for the United States Championship. This didn't happen. There wasn't really, I mean, we knew that some level of fuckery was going to occur, and as it always does in any match with a special guest referee. I would say the fuckery was very minimal. There was
minimal,
some,
and it was pretty even on both sides.
yeah, like Shane McMahon did not favor one competitor over the other. There were some spots where Shane McMahon was knocked unconscious, which it's bizarre how anytime you put on a referee shirt,
It's like
you're,
kryptonite.
You're more susceptible to concussions and being knocked unconscious than if you were just to, I don't know, step into the Hell in a Cell with The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Bizarre. But
Shane McMahon just crashed a helicopter into the ocean, swam to shore, got up and was like, yeah, I'm good. Can I get in another helicopter? I got fucking places to go, people to see.
Yeah.
He gets shoved and he's like, oh, that'll be it for tonight.
Yeah. Yep. So this was the first match on the card. 11 matches into the card. This was the first one. Well, I shouldn't say 11 matches. I mean, they weren't all title matches. Let me see. This was 1, 2,
Great radio here.
3, 4, 5. Yep, 5. Five title
matches.
changes before the one retaining. So it was still a good match. I mean,
I dug this one a lot. I think it's their best encounter.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. You're wrong here.
What are you going?
I thought the one at MSG was way better.
That one was really good. That one was more
This
about.
match was kind of clunky.
That was more about high spots. I don't think this was clunky.
It was clunky. If you go back and watch some of those like Styles clashes that he did on Owens,
the second Styles clash, he did. I think he did 3.
Both of them were clunky.
He did 3. The second one was a little clunky, but
2 of them were clunky.
I really liked the story they told with Shane. I thought the Shane story was awesome.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, but to say it was their best is just not.
I thought it was.
No.
I really enjoyed this. This was more the MSG match we saw, which we talk about all the time.
Way better.
I wonder if how many people that are listening actually saw that. That was more like you hit a finisher, kick out, I hit a finisher, kick out. The big that's the big match feel. This one was very centered, and this one was very we're telling a very linear story here that Shane McMahon is trying to be unbiased, and these two are both getting mad at him. They've both had history with him. Shane has had a history of being the special guest referee and being very unbiased. If you go back at all the times he's been the special guest referee, this is the most unbiased he's ever been.
Yeah.
It's like he's taking bumps. I mean, Kevin Owens is tapping out, and Shane is on the outside. I really dug this, and it was unpredictable for a special guest referee match where you're like, all right, there's going to be the finish is going to be a big thing with Shane, and it's going to start something, and he's going to take a bump, and it just wasn't. It was good.
I wanted more from this match.
That's fair.
Yeah, I wanted more. All the things that you just described, I wanted them, and I didn't get them. I wanted a swerve. There weren't really any swerves.
Minimal swerves.
Yeah, which is fine, to not have.
Which we even before the Raw Women's Championship match, we're like, can Carmella cash in here?
Yeah.
They never really specified. That would have been a massive swerve.
Yes.
Massive. And it would have been really cool. I wish they did that.
So, for the Big Four, not even the Big Four, just give me WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble, and SummerSlam. I need at least one swerve in those shows.
Yeah.
And I don't care where it comes from. Even if it was the Carmella cash-in, that's a swerve.
The biggest thing you can consider a swerve on this show is Jinder Mahal beating Shinsuke, which wasn't really a swerve. It's not a swerve. It's just a surprising,
I wouldn't have been surprised either way. It wasn't yep, this is definitely Shinsuke's time. I didn't think that it was a guarantee that he was dropping the title. But before we move on to that one, this particular match, I vehemently disagree with you that this is their best one.
Okay.
The MSG one was better. And then what was the one after that? They had one in between, right? On
yeah.
Raw? Or no?
They had the triple threat. If you count the triple threat they had with Jericho, that one is obviously the best, but that's not a one-on-one match.
I thought that they had a pay-per-view match.
They did. I think they had 2 pay-per-view matches in between.
Okay.
They definitely had Battleground, and I think they had one before that.
I think that out of the ones that I'm thinking of, this is the 3rd best. I don't even think it's the 2nd best.
All right, we got some different tastes sometimes. That's fine.
Yeah.
Agree to disagree. What fucking great podcast partners. That's why we get along so well. We're just great people.
Yeah, we just, it's okay to disagree sometimes. Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal. Why
are you laughing?
Because I'm thinking back to, if you haven't followed From the Top Rope on Instagram.
And Barstool Sports, we got the main account today. Shout out
and
us.
the main account, yes.
Big boys.
You need to go back,
pants.
and if there's still time, depending on when you're listening to this, if it is on what is tomorrow? Monday, they'll still be there. You have 24 hours. So, like I've said before, anytime that I watch a Jinder Mahal match, I can't even focus on the match because I'm so distracted by the copious amounts of steroids that this man
allegedly on.
Has injected into his body.
Allegedly.
And it is fucking incredible. You're down on his in-ring work. For me, you obviously have more of a keen eye to in-ring work than somebody like me. I don't watch his matches and say, this guy sucks in the ring. I don't think he's great. I'm more just distracted by the fucking size of his traps.
He works out
and
a
his
lot.
back muscles and the acne on his shoulders and his back, and it's just all over his fucking arm.
Protein shakes.
I cannot
milk, a lot of milk.
Fucking believe that anyone backstage is like, why can't I take steroids? He's clearly taking steroids. Why are we even have the wellness policy?
that
He
clear.
looks awesome.
You know, when I was a junior in high school, I drank a lot of milk, a gallon of milk a day, and I looked very similar. It's doable.
Yeah, but you have to keep it down. You weren't quite keeping it down.
I wasn't keeping it down. There was a lot of throwing up. But Jinder...
It's the
Jinder's
acne,
got a
though,
hard
too.
body.
It's just like, does he have fucking body wash?
Nah,
if
he's
it's
got
not
bad
from
genes,
if it's
you know?
not from steroids, then he's just not cleaning himself well enough because there's bacteria in his pores. Like, why?
Dr. Carrabis talking about bacteria
Why-
from the top rope.
Why does he have so much acne if he's not on a shit ton of steroids?
Nah, it's protein and stuff like
Fast
that.
food. You know, he loves it. Greasy pizza.
He did my brother. You follow wrestling pretty closely. I would
Listen,
say.
compared to Robbie, I suppose we're agreeing that Jared would be the casual fan.
Yeah.
Compared to Jared, we can call me
Even more casual.
fair enough.
You watch every pay-per-view live, pretty much, and you'll
I'm
catch
above
the.
casual. I watch every
No,
single
yeah.
fucking
You're-
show.
no, you're
I'm
not-
just
you're not
like,
casual.
I didn't go to wrestling
You're
school.
you're a
Compared to,
hardcore
right.
fan.
Yeah.
But my brother's very casual. He watches every WWE pay-per-view live, and he'll catch up on Raw and SmackDown, like the highlights. I'll let him know the highlights to check out. And he said to me going there, he's like, I kind of like Jinder as champion. Like, he's a heel. People don't like him. And I hate that. I think that's completely wrong. I think people just don't care about him. Until we got to the Barclays Center tonight, and he got straight up heel heat. It was almost, it was very like, fuck. I don't know what to say.
The
Look,
opposite
here's
of
what
what
I
he
love.
has.
Here's
People
what I
hated him.
love. Call me old school. I love when the heel's music hits and the heel walks through the curtain and the entire place is booing. They're
Yeah.
standing up to
Yeah.
boo. That's
He's
what
not,
a heel
he's not
needs
the,
to be,
he's not
man.
the cool heel, you know. He's not
And
trying
by
to
the
get
way,
cheered.
I love when a professional wrestler looks like a fucking action figure. I love when I can
But
see the
there's a
definition
line.
in
There's a
every
line you gotta
goddamn
draw.
muscle in his body.
No one is even close
There's a line you
to
have
the
to draw.
muscle
Jinder.
definition. It's laugh out loud whenever I see this.
We were
And, like,
sitting on our seats laughing out loud at him.
But like, so let me just clarify something. Am I anti-steroid? No. I would.
You do steroids?
Yes, I would love for all of the WWE performers to be on steroids. It's not
Would
like
you? I would say
Yes.
no after.
Of
After,
course.
I don't mean to make this somber, but watching old Eddie Guerrero matches where I could see how much steroids he was on, and then you see he died because he was on so much steroids. It's like,
That was like HGH though.
let's
Stay away
lay
from
off
the
that.
HGH because that's what makes your like if you're on HGH and your heart like everything
Yeah.
grows, your heart grows and it just fucking explodes inside your chest.
He was. You could pop him with a pin.
Yeah. So maybe just like
I feel like
take
this
it
is
careful.
all Dr. Nick approach to diagnosing these.
Yeah, we don't actually know anything about this
Claims.
shit, but like, I'm gonna go stay off the steroids, especially because you make me look like shit with my noodle arms. So
Yeah. Well, anyways, I just
this
Like-
match was better than I thought it would be.
yeah. I mean, I didn't have
I thought it would be horrible.
I didn't have low expectations for this.
I had low expectations. They outperformed them, so I can't really tell if it was good or not. I think it was fine. It ended when the Singh brothers got up on the apron right as Nakamura was about to hit the Kinshasa. He hit it on both of them, and then Jinder hit him with the the Maharaja. I don't know what the fuck his finisher is.
By the way, the Singh brothers, I buy them as a tag team. Let's get some trunks and let's get them in there.
get
and
some
do it.
Singh-
Singh,
trunks.
Singh brothers are awesome. We've been all over Singh brothers for months. They're really great.
Yeah.
They make Jinder tolerable.
I was pleased with this finish. I was like,
Really?
aha, you got us. Yeah, because
All right.
I think it was a foregone conclusion that most of the crowd probably, I mean, everyone wanted to see the title change.
They thought the title was changing, especially with Nakamura's special entrance. He had the violinist.
Yeah, but I don't know if they thought it was going to happen more so than they wanted it to happen, and just the business sense of it because the ratings are down with Jinder as champion. So
Yeah.
it was like, all right, we did it. You know, maybe we got the reaction because like the whatever billion people in India.
1.3 bill.
Yeah, but I like this finish because of that reason. That they boo it. What like Big Cass is a heel. That there was virtually no reaction after beating the Big Show. That's not what you want. You want to have the shit booed out of you, and that's what Jinder brings to the table. I like it,
Sure.
and I like.
I'm not turning my opinion on him, but
You're down on him because you're reading too much into the technical shit. Get past
I
that.
think he's a horrible promo too. his "You hate me because of my skin color, and I am the modern day Maharaja. I'm going to speak the language of my people, even though it's not the language of my people. If I was speaking the language of my people, I would speak English because I'm fucking Canadian."
Speak
He's
French
from
in
Calgary.
Canada.
He's from Calgary. He doesn't even go to the French part of Canada. He sucks. He's so bad. It makes me angry.
Great champion.
All right, let's talk about the main event because we've been talking about this match since Great Balls of Fire when this match was rumored.
Yep.
We've been saying this match with
Shout
these
out
four
G-Buff.
hosses. G-Buff, yeah. G-Buff, show of the year. We've been talking about these four fucking hosses. If they get together in a ring, we want chaos. We want it to be Godzilla versus King Kong versus fucking whoever the other monsters in that universe are. I don't dive deep into that. We want
The
it
robot
to be
from Power Rangers.
the
when all
robot
the-
from Power Rangers.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yes. We want this to be complete and utter chaos, and they delivered. This match
They heard you.
This match was everything I thought it would be and more. I fucking loved this match. From the instant that bell rang, they were like going after each other. Lesnar's hitting suplexes, and it wasn't the normal Fatal 4 formula of like A and B are in the ring. B takes a bump, C enters the ring. A takes a bump, D enters the ring. They were all going at once. It was like, who are we looking at? It was like a 3-ring circus. All the tables gone. 2 of the tables, Braun puts Brock through one table. He flips like he flipped that ambulance months ago. Roman hit a spear through the barricade. Everyone's going crazy. Brock got taken out on a stretcher. He comes back. The place was going wild. Holy shit chants everywhere. I was jumping up and down. We're high-fiving.
You were very excited.
Oh, I was going crazy.
Who can I hurt and how can I hurt them? That's what everyone in the ring was thinking.
This match was so fucking good. It slowed in the middle when Brock got carted out. We had a moment of like, all right, let's all catch our breaths here. And then the closing segment was very, very, very reminiscent of WrestleMania 31 with Roman and Brock, to the point where like I'm starting to think like, yeah, those rumors that they're doing this again at this WrestleMania seem true. Roman hit the triple Superman punch, which was a callback to that match. Took 3 to drop Brock, hit a spear on him, and then Brock caught him going for another spear in an F5, pinned him in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3. Our guy Braun didn't win, but he was the most over by far.
Yes.
He's
a babyface.
He was red hot over. Red hot. So good.
He is a babyface.
Might as well be, yeah.
He is. He was pandering's probably not the right word. It's like a negative connotation to it, but he was, doing his once he gets into the ring, throwing his arms up, he was going to different sides of the ring to get a reaction from the crowd. That was a babyface thing to do.
It was. And, I wouldn't have issue with him. He doesn't need to be a babyface or a heel. He could just be Braun. He could just be a guy that kicks heels' asses, kicks babyfaces' asses. He kicks ass.
Well,
He's his own island,
That's what he does.
It is, and it's perfect. It plays perfectly. He might be like when you're talking about my favorite wrestlers to watch this year, obviously I'm going to say it's Kenny Omega and Okada with their respective matches. But WWE-wise, Braun might be my favorite wrestler of the year to watch.
It's not because he just puts on fucking spectacular, technically sound matches.
No, it's because he's a monster.
Yes,
and he's booked so well,
and he's not slow.
I would have put the title on him tonight. I really would have. Lesnar retaining almost took the air out of the building. I was okay with it. Whatever.
Yeah,
it's
but
fine,
the stipulation of you have to remember if Lesnar lost the title, he's out of the company.
Just a very smart stipulation because it planted a seed in all of our heads. Ooh, Lesnar wants to go to the UFC. He's probably going to lose that title. And then he didn't.
There wasn't a pop. You can feel it in the building.
There wasn't really a pop for Lesnar.
Every time Strowman hit a move, the place was going wild, man.
Yeah.
And at the end of the match, it was kind of just a little bit of a, air came out of the balloon, like you said.
I think I'll like it better on a rewatch when I get okay, I know who's winning this match. I want to really go back and look at all of the Roman Brock interactions because
I think it was
dug
anticlimactic.
those. It was a little bit
especially
because Braun was the star of that match in such a big way.
Yeah.
That it was okay, this seems like it's his fucking time.
He was the winner of the match without being the winner of the match.
Yes,
he
correct.
comes away from that match looking better than anyone else who competed in it.
And I'm so glad. I love Roman. I'm so glad he was the one that got pinned.
Why?
Because he can take the pin. I don't want to see
Joe.
Strowman get pinned.
Joe
and
just
Joe
took one
just took
from-
one
yeah.
last month.
Yeah.
So Roman was the right guy to take the pin if Brock is going over. If Strowman was going over, you got to pin Lesnar. That's the guy. Because that's especially he's already saying he's going to leave
I wouldn't have
WWE
done
and then
that.
he gets pinned. It's oh shit.
You
Causes
can-
a fit of rage.
I still think Braun if Braun went over, still should have pinned Roman, because then that sets up Braun and Lesnar, which the crowd went fucking nuts for. Because
they
Lesnar
teased that a few times before they went into it. And
right.
The crowd loved it.
Because then if you have them in a singles match and Lesnar's like, I never got fucking pinned by you.
Yeah.
That would have been a huge main event that you could have done at the Rumble or
I'm
even
also
WrestleMania.
taking it like if Brock is going away for a while,
Yeah.
I'd like him to be pinned.
Yeah.
Loved this match though, really did. Like this,
It delivered.
The whole show was
except
like
for the finish. So hold on. So I was I'm fucking sitting here wearing my Shield fucking
Yeah.
T-shirt.
You were so optimistic during the match, and I said,
It made so much
said,
sense.
Don't get too excited.
It made, and this is what I said even last week when we did the fucking preview. I was like, Ambrose and Rollins are winning the tag titles.
Yep.
They're going to come in. They're going to triple powerbomb someone, help Roman. And, I mean, Brooklyn is going to boo the shit out of Roman, which they did. But a Shield reunion, if the fucking Shield music just hit 20 minutes into the main event, everyone's wiped out. And, Roman is in the ring with Lesnar, whoever. And then they put someone triple powerbomb through a table, and then Roman wins. That's how you put the strap back on Roman, if that were the idea, to get him a babyface pop. That would have been fucking unbelievable. But now it's like, I don't know where they're going with the Shield angle, because, yes, Roman took the pin from Lesnar, but it's like, you're not going to have the Shield, get back together for a feud, to build to a feud. They're gonna get back together for something like that.
Yeah.
Like a big payoff out of nowhere.
I want to say one of our first or second podcast ever, I said the Shield will start to reunite towards SummerSlam, and I think Hell in a Cell will be where they all reunite. For real.
It's too underwhelming. That was the moment. That was the time to do it.
If Sierra Hotel India Echo Lima Delta Shield hit
fucking blew it,
during
Robbie.
the main event, I don't think they blew it because the
They
main event was still
fucking
great.
blew it.
I
No.
think
Yes,
you got
but-
your hopes up too high.
No, because it made so much sense.
If that would have hit during the main event, it would have been the biggest pop I've ever heard in my life.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When else are you going to have that pop? Because the main event was fantastic. The crowd was waiting for just the perfect, top me off. That was a
Crowd
fantastic
chant for
blowjob.
Undertaker. There was rumors that, oh my God, you went blowjob on that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's you need to fucking just finish strong here. And they didn't finish
You're
strong.
fired up.
Yes, because
They didn't finish strong.
Because I'm fired up because obviously I want to see the Shield reunion that they're clearly building towards.
Yep.
That
same
was
color
the moment.
gear was not a coincidence. There's
Of
no way
course
that
not.
was a hint.
And they left one table.
They did. They left the table at the top of the entrance ramp.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that was the other thing too. Is if you still wanted to have the match finish the way that they've had it finish, what you could have done is, all right, Lesnar goes to the back. And then Roman is obviously laid out because he took the F5 in the pin. And then you have Joe and Braun, go in the ring and start just beating the shit out of Roman because they're pissed that they lost.
Yeah.
And then there's so many different ways that you could have done it. How do you fuck this up?
Hold on,
done it.
boys. Let's
They
not
coulda
forget
done it.
who's on the cover of WWE 2K18
Seth?
video game.
What about Seth? What do you mean?
Why are we convinced there's going to be a Shield or a tag run with Seth when he's the guy in the commercial?
But they have the titles
on the
now.
cover
They
of
got the titles now,
game.
so they're on the run. I think it's a good move. The Shield, I've been saying for months, don't put the Shield together, don't put the Shield together. Now that it's been done, and I've seen that it's over, I can say, hand up, I was wrong. I'm not as distraught over the full Shield not reuniting, probably because for months I've been they haven't even spent any time apart from each other since the breakup. It's been 3 years since the breakup, right?
4,
4
right?
years or something like that. 2014, so probably 3 years.
Never forget.
They've had no time apart, so I've been the reuniting won't mean much. It does mean much. We had a big.
So then when do you do
deal.
it? When does it make sense?
I don't know. It made sense tonight.
I will fucking just
Made sense
be
tonight.
beside myself if they do it at some fucking Great Balls of Fire bullshit pay-per-view.
Shout out G-Buff.
Just because it's there's not a lot of interest in this pay-per-view, so put the Shield back together.
So
Yeah,
hey,
fuck it.
if we're talking Vince, we want long-term booking. You put them together at WrestleMania, and that's the moment. It's during.
That is so far from now.
It
It's
is.
not. People are not going to still
But you gotta let that slow burn happen.
Robbie, they fucked this up big time. That was the night to do it.
But I
They
disagree.
get
I
back
think
after the build to get Seth and Dean back together, they finally get back together. They win the fucking tag titles.
Yep.
Roman's wearing red. He's in a match against all odds with 3 other fucking giants.
Yep.
He needs the shield. They fucking come back. They help him. He's the champ. They're all champs. They're back together. Everyone's happy. Crowd goes home happy. Like, why? Why did they fuck this up? Because now there's no slam dunk, this makes sense time to do it. Now it's going to seem thrown together because it's just like, well, I guess we got to put them together on this pay-per-view. Like, why? It's not going to be the
Maybe.
Rumble. They're going to be
It
in
could
the
be the Rumble. Who knows? It could be the Rumble. I don't feel as strongly because I think they did fuck this up. And not the Shield thing. I think they fucked it up not putting the title on Braun tonight. It's Braun's time tonight, in my opinion. Would the Shield thing be perfect? Absolutely perfect, and the place would have went wild. It would
Bananas.
have been maybe the biggest moment in SummerSlam history
Since, like,
recently.
Like the glass breaking.
Yeah.
And, like that. It would have been.
It would have been that. But they didn't do it. Maybe that's not the direction they're leading. Maybe it's a business thing too. Maybe it's these people apart will make us more money than if they're together. We'll put 2/3 of them together. I really don't know. But I look at them breaking up Enzo and Cass, and I'm like, all right, where's all that merch money going? Because that merch money is going to dry up. Maybe they're going to start doing Shield merch again. That could be a possibility from a business standpoint. Tonight was the night to do it if you were going to do it, but maybe they're not going to do it. Maybe there's no plans to do that. Maybe
It doesn't
they're
make
like Roman's
sense
the
to
guy.
make them do 2/3 and not just do the whole thing. It makes no fucking sense.
I kind of agree, but I don't feel as strongly as you do.
I feel very strongly.
Oh, do you? Do you? I didn't realize that.
Very strongly about this. Just because like I'm upset that they had the right perfect moment to do it, and it's like I'm obviously still going to be happy once they reunite, but it's not going to feel the same. Like it's not going to be
Who knows?
as exciting.
It really could.
How?
They could find a moment where they build. I don't think it's a lost cause quite like you do. I think they can have a slow build into it, and maybe they could even tease it and make it better. Maybe they could make fans really think, like, could this happen? Tonight, some did, but I would say the majority didn't think the Shield's getting back together for real tonight. Maybe a slow burn into them. I mean, when they were together and they slow burned their breakup, and when they had moments where it looked like the Shield's going to break up and then they didn't, and then it looked like the Shield's going to break up and they didn't, and they finally did.
I didn't like
it. Made that moment bigger, I think. Maybe they could do. Maybe they're going to get back together. They're not. Maybe they're not. And then when they do, much like Rollins and Ambrose putting the fist in, it is bigger. I'm very optimistic that if they're going to put the Shield back together, they will do it right, and it will be a big moment. I think tonight would have been the perfect time, but I don't think that's gone. I don't think that, it's a missed opportunity. It's just like, all right, maybe we're going to do this in the future. And maybe in the Royal Rumble, they'll get back together before then, and the three of them will, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose will just help Roman the whole time and then hop over the top rope because they're the tag team guys and he's the guy, and they want him in the main event. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities here. It's not as gone as you think it is.
It's gone.
It's not gone. It's not gone.
It's gone.
Jared's crying in the studio right now. It's like that commercial where there's one tear just going down his cheek. He's an upset boy in his Hounds of Justice shirt.
Yeah, it's not gone. It's just it's not going to be as great as it would have been tonight. And
who knows? I'm gonna look at my left wrist and say, why not?
Fair.
So overall show recap. You have fun tonight?
I had a great time.
I had a great time. Mike, how was your time tonight?
Everything was great, and I'm going to hit you guys now with, I'm going to turn it on you, cream of the crop.
Ooh.
Favorite moment, SummerSlam 2017.
Ooh, that's a good one. Favorite moment of this year, SummerSlam.
Huh.
I'm looking down the list now. You know what? I'm just gonna say it's the opening 5 or 10 minutes of the main event. That chaos.
Yeah.
That was my favorite moment of the night. Maybe second up is Cesaro popping the beach ball. I loved that. I loved the pre-show match right away as we got there. It set a good tone for the night. We're going to have fun tonight. But ultimately, I'm going to say the opening chaos of the main event, where all the tables were breaking and all that was going on.
Flipping a table on Lesnar.
Yeah, Braun flipping the table. That was good shit.
Yeah, were there any? I would say the finish to the Ambrose Rollins match was up there.
Finn's entrance is up there for
Finn's
me.
entrance.
I love being in that crowd for Finn's entrance. What do you
I
got?
got chills. Actually, guess. What moment did I get chills tonight?
Chills. I really don't know. I'm going to say like the RKO or something?
Shinsuke Nakamura's entrance.
Yeah,
When the
Shinsuke,
crowd is singing his entrance. Like, that's pretty cool to see live.
I get chills when the music stops and the crowd doesn't.
Yes.
That's a really cool moment.
Yeah, and when you have
He's
like
over.
the actual like violinist there doing the theme and
Yep.
the whole crowd is into it. Yeah, I would say that was, I wouldn't say it's my favorite moment, but it was definitely one of the most memorable moments.
That was good shit. What do you got, Mike?
I get a moment that both of you probably wouldn't have remembered unless I'm going to say it right now. We're online outside the Barclays Center, and a fan comes up and says, "Are you Octagon Bob?"
Oh, yeah.
And "Are you Jared?" And I love the podcast. And I was just watching that dude's face, man, and I saw he was genuinely fucking excited to have
cool.
met both of you.
Yeah.
And I just took a moment, and I felt like, this is awesome. My little brother and his pal Jared are kicking ass
Yeah.
and spreading joy,
Yeah.
even if
In the
it's a
wrestling
little
community.
bit, once in a while.
A normally very upset and miserable community.
Yeah.
Spreading
people that
joy.
love narcissism and love to complain. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is cool. I fucking love when people are like,
I thought that was great.
oh
man.
shit, from the top. One of the coolest things I've ever had is we have a cafe right by our office, Cafe 28, and I walked in. It was like the second or third week the podcast ever existed, and I walk in and someone just like looked at me like they were shocked, and then they looked at their phone and they showed me their phone and they were in the middle of our episode listening to it, and I was like, oh, that's fucking awesome. Like, that's fate right there. I walked into this place to get me.
Did they
a
identify
salad.
themselves as a grapple fuck?
No, it was before Grapple Fuck existed. I
Okay.
wish.
Shout out to the grapple fucks, by the way.
Love the grapple fucks. We're making that stick. We're
forcing it.
We're duct taping it to make it stick.
We're
with
pushing it
Gorilla
like John
Glue.
Cena.
Yeah. That's about it.
That is about it.
It's a long show, but I mean, we were at the Barclays Center for 12 hours. Today.
Yeah. So was SummerSlam. SummerSlam was a very long show, but overall grade, both of you.
Oh, grades. Oh. I think my grade would be different if I was watching at home, and the fact that I
About the
was
commentary?
there. Always, it's not even about the
It's
commentary.
enhanced
It's about I
being
have
there.
I have a good time being at wrestling shows. I love being with a live crowd. Even we were at WrestleMania 29. You were too. Me and my brother
Yeah.
were there. We couldn't see the ring. We had a big post in the way. We paid a lot of money for our tickets, couldn't see the ring, and I had one of the best nights of my life. I was like crying as the fireworks were going off because I was like, I can't fucking believe it. I made it to WrestleMania.
It's because you're a bitch.
It is because I'm a bitch, and I cry
He
at
is a
wrestling all the
big-time
time.
crier. Big-time
Huge
crier.
cry. I'm an emotional guy. Sup, ladies? But
What's up?
we couldn't see the ring, and I still had an awesome time watching it on the big screen because I'm there with the crowd. And I love that wrestling is this art form that makes people feel the emotions that it does. So it's like when I'm there at a live wrestling show, that's the shit that I love the most in life. So it's like grade for the show, like probably like a B+. But if I watched it at home, I might be like a C-. I didn't like the finish of this match. I just had a great time tonight.
I also had a great time. I would say I liked that there were so many title changes. Like
Yeah.
that added to the unpredictability of it, and I would even give it an A-.
Yeah. What do you got?
I give it an A, man. We're in New York City. It's SummerSlam. You know, they did the first one ever here.
What's not to fucking love?
We're there live. We're having a great time. People, watch wrestling and have fucking fun.
Yeah,
I
have
beg
some
of you,
fun,
try to
damn
have
it.
some fun. If you don't like it, turn it off and say, hey, maybe next time it'll be good
Or
too.
watch fucking New Japan. We're watch Indies, watch Progress, watch PWG, watch Ring of Honor. There's so many alternatives out there that's like, if you don't like one aspect of wrestling, but you've been a wrestling fan your whole life, you're down on the product right now, that's what we're trying to tell you with this podcast.
I'll
It's like,
say it again.
There's
If all
other
else
shit.
fails, go back on WWE Network. Watch the Mountie get sent to jail in New York City.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
SummerSlam 91. That's kind of we always have that obscure match recommendation for our guests.
That's the one
That's
I'm
kind of
going with
yours for tonight. Yeah. All right. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at From the Top. I'll save our Instagram story from tonight and upload it so you could check it out even if you don't have Instagram. I'll put it on Twitter and all that shit. We had a good time. Rate us, review us, subscribe to us on all the mediums that we're on. You probably know better than us what we're on. For Jared Carrabis, my brother Mike, Mickey, this has been From the Top Rope.